Welcome to the RD Squeeze. I'm Mickey.
And I'm Emily.
And we're two dietitian besties here to squeeze out the misinformation around health and nutrition.
Hey everyone, welcome to the RD Squeeze. It's Emily and Mickey here with you today on episode 16, where we're going to get into talking about National Nutrition Month. Oh yeah.
Woohoo!
Our favorite.
The only month dedicated to all nutrition. It's our favorite month of the year as dietitians.
Yes, it is. And yes, we say National Nutrition Month. Well, of course, it's nutrition, not National Dietitian Month. I mean, we wish we had a month. We do have a day in the month, though, right? So at least we get to celebrate that. It's usually the second Wednesday of the month, and that is March 12th, I believe. Or is it the Thursday? March 13th. I forget which day.
So it is March 12th is RD Day, and then March 13th is NDTR Day.
Yes.
So that's exciting. And then, the rest of the month is National Nutrition Month. So happy National Nutrition Month, because this episode is set to come out the first week of March. So
that's right.
Yeah, very exciting. Yeah,
so we're going to go through like where National Nutrition Month came from, what the theme is this year. So every year there's a different theme, and we love the themes. Some years they're a little catchy. Some years they're not as catchy, but this year we really enjoy the theme. I think it's great. We're going to share some of our stories and then give you some ways that maybe you can look at celebrating National Nutrition Month as well. So the theme this year is that food connects us. And I really love this theme because it pretty much is why I got into nutrition. We'll get into some stories and whatnot, but first I wanted to kind of just share like the overview of National Nutrition Month and where the campaign started. So it was started in 1973, so it's been quite many years that it's been going on. Back then it was the American Dietetic Association. Now we are the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And so it was really created to promote that awareness of making informed food choices, developing sound eating habits, and increasing our physical activity. So we don't just encompass the nutrition. We know behaviorally that activity is also very important to our health and well-being. So we also wanted to make sure that we include that. Now, we are not the physical activity experts. We will say that, but we can provide general recommendations that are given out based on the minutes you should do daily, the types of activities that you can do. And then from there, like, we do not do prescriptions or anything like that for exercise. Some dietitians can if they are credentialed to do that, or if they're a personal trainer or something, but they have to have that extra credential for them to be able to do that. So again, going back to the importance of what can you do, what's in your scope of practice, we do recognize that and we don't go over that scope. So with National Nutrition Month, I don't know, what's been your favorite theme, Mickey? Can you think back to some of the themes in the last few years?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look them up. I'd have to look them up which I can do that right now. I can't remember them.
I know there was one, what was it? Fork Over Love, or not Fork Over Love. That's a local nonprofit. Yeah. Shout out to them. Oh goodness, what was the one theme about the forks? That one I did kind of enjoy, because it was almost like a bite full of food within a fork. How can we enjoy our food in those one bites, and really promote more mindfulness with eating? So that was kind of, I know that was in the last like 4 to 6 years.
I found a couple. So there was Go Further with Food. I think the one you're talking about is Put Your Best Fork Forward.
Yes, that one.
Savor the flavor of eating right, eat right, feel right, live healthy, I think it was. Beyond the Table was last year. So yeah, there was like a ton of really catchy kind of ones. I think last year's it was more about like sustainability and like how food can, like, not connects us, but I guess food kind of goes beyond just eating in your home. It's like, if you go to the farmer's market, or how are you supporting like other businesses and things like that, and like sustainability and stuff. So yeah, I really like this theme this year though.
I do too.
I think a lot of them have been very like health centric, and I think that this one is very health neutral, which is kind of nice, because it's just like food is a thing that brings us together. It's something that develops connection and relationships. And I think that we lose that a lot, especially like with the presence of diet culture and things like that. Like, we lose that food is that positive, I don't know, glue that sticks everybody together. Like, we all have different perceptions of food. We all grew up eating different foods. So I really like this theme. I'm excited to see where it goes for the month, and I know we're going to talk more about it, but I think this has been my favorite one so far. We'll see how it goes, and all the swag that comes out and everything, I know. But yeah, I'm excited.
Isn't it one of the most fun things for dietitians at least? So we get this catalog of like the fun things you can purchase, promotional, things to get for your clients, or, at a health system to share during this month. A lot of us have like fairs or tables where we educate the public. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics puts out a lot of fun handouts, like activity worksheets and things like that, educational handouts that we share on this topic specifically, but also then just general nutrition information to get the word out about who registered dietitians are, what the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics does, and how we can promote health and well-being to our patient population. And it's just so much fun when we get this catalog, because there's like, stress balls, there's different kitchen utensils that have the theme on it, pens and paper, and dietitians get new swag during this time of year. So it's just a really fun time. And especially, I think for a lot of us, we're kind of in that like blue kind of like mood with the weather and how cold it is, and depending on where we're living, and we're just like ready for things to kind of start sprucing up and getting the sunlight back a little bit more, getting outside more. So it just kind of starts that process of spring being sprung, and gets us excited to continue to promote our profession and to really give our clients healthy information to be able to promote that health and well-being in their lifestyle. So I know I enjoy buying new swag during the year. It's my favorite thing to do.
And that's not the only fun about National Nutrition Month. I mean, the other things, but I mean, like you said, I think the importance of nutrition being at the forefront of some people's minds and having a whole month dedicated to that, I think is really special. And just really cool to like be able to say like we have a whole month dedicated to nutrition, and like, I don't know, it's just exciting. So
yeah. And I think too, like the things that dietitians do, and we can talk about that. Look for, already mentioned the health fairs and like promotional tables that might be around. But I know at my work site, we have like a cook-off event with our dietetic interns. We get them involved, and we have just like this fun event where we invite employees, we invite the clients of ours, and have them come and watch the fun that we can have, but including the theme of food connects us this year, and just what we can do with food to better our lives. And so we have some fun with it. What things do you guys do, like with the students, Mickey, at the schools, or what do the students do? You have interns, so what are some of their projects that they really enjoy doing to get the message out for National Nutrition Month?
Yeah, I think a few things that like are kind of in the works are, we always have them do like some sort of health promotion project, and we usually say do it around National Nutrition Month. So a lot of them will do like cooking demos, or some sort of educational presentation, or they'll do like a little table in their site where they're setting up like information and offering like education and things like that. So it can definitely vary upon whatever they decide that they want to do. And then I'm hopeful that this year, a big thing right now that is kind of also on my job is like promoting the program and promoting our department. And so I really would like to do a lot of focus on, you know, what the students are doing in their sites, and, you know, focus on maybe even faculty and like days in the lives, and, you know, just sharing all this information. And I don't know what the other faculty members have in store for National Nutrition Month. I'm teaching another class this semester too that's with freshmen, so maybe I'll do something fun with them. I haven't thought about it yet, but I'm sure I can come up with something and let you guys know. But yeah, I mean, I think we always try and do something fun. We'll have AME in March, which is good, right? It's March.
Yes. So that's our annual meeting in Pennsylvania with lots of dietitians. That's probably one of our favorite times of the year, is getting together with these dietitians. We have so many friends. We've networked with so many people. As Mickey shared, she was the past president a few years ago. So, and I've been on the board a couple times as well. So it's really good to get together with everyone. We kind of reignite our passion for our profession as well. And I'm kind of really happy it's in March this year too, because we get to celebrate. Yeah, it's at the end of the month, but we still get to celebrate together our month where we promote health and wellness. And like you said earlier, it's just really nice to have a full month, because a lot of professions might only have a week or a day where they celebrate. And we mentioned we have a day as dietitians. And I think many professions beyond nurses, because they do such great work, they have a full week, but many professions have mostly just like a day. Some others have a week. But having this full month to be the month where we can educate is really important, I think. And I do know there's a lot of crossover with a lot of other professions. It's their month as well. So again, I think it's that time of year where we're just like reigniting this passion, the education, getting the information out there to our clients, our patients, to really promote that health and wellness for them. So search around, see what other months it is, and kind of try and find like where are events going on in your area. I know, I think our state academy, does ask the governor to declare it a national month for us in the state. So I think every year so far they've done that for the past few years. So looking forward to hoping that that's declared by our governor here. But it's just a fun month. And getting back to the theme this month, so food connects us. Mickey, why don't you share and we've shared stories before, and I think, as I mentioned, this is why I'm a dietitian, because food connected me to things. So Mickey, do you have like a couple stories that you want to share about how food has connected you? And then I think we can touch on like our connection with food together, and with some of our group of friends too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like specific stories, but for now I'll kind of waffle a little bit and just explain like the general interpretation of the theme for me, and just like what it means to me. And I just always remember like my family always, I mean, I come from a half Italian family, so very big, boisterous, but always coming together over food. And I always enjoyed that piece. Like especially around Christmas time or Easter or just like New Year's, there would always be people in the kitchen. And I think that's another thing that even with us, like parties and stuff that we plan and have and get-togethers and things like that, where do people always congregate, right? It's always in the kitchen. You could set up every other room in your house for people to sit and hang out, and it's always in the kitchen where people congregate. Like they could be standing around your kitchen island, or just like it could be the smallest kitchen. Like that's like right now in the house that I live in, our kitchen's not big, but every time we have like people over, it's always squished in the kitchen. And I think that's a testament to how that develops those connections. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like a specific scenario, but even with friends, I mean, what's the first thing that you think of when you want to get together with friends? Like you're like, let's get dinner, like let's get drinks, let's, get together for happy hour. And even like you and I, like we'll get together for like just some food and drinks and hang out, and just like, I don't know, it just brings down the barriers a little bit too. It lets you talk and converse, and I don't know. I think another thing I really like about food, I'm rambling a little bit, but I don't know about you, but when I go out to dinner with a friend or a family member or even, my boyfriend or something, I love to do like a bunch of little plates and just share everything. Like that is the best way for me to eat because you get a variety, you get to try different things, you get to share these plates and share these stories and connect. And I think that's like one of my favorite ways to eat is just always when you're sharing both conversation and the food that you're actually eating together. And also no phones at the table. I'm like a huge proponent of that. Like if you're going to connect with me at the table. And I think that's you're more engaged that way and you're less distracted. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I think that's kind of how I'm interpreting it a little bit.
I really like your point of that. And it's kind of nothing to do with food connects us, but in a way it is like bringing ourselves to the table or wherever it might be, the island or wherever, a coffee shop or something, bringing us there together. Like you're there to have a good time, to connect, whether it's over a beverage or over actual food. You're there to connect and communicate thoughts, communicate a friendship. And having a phone is putting that divide there. I love that you said that because I am one where, like, if someone is texting at the table, I'm like, I want to converse with you. I want to have a conversation. Okay, you've just put up a barrier. So I'm going to turn to a different person now and talk, or I'm going to maybe like shut down and not communicate. And maybe I'm going to go sit somewhere else now. So I think that's a really good point to make. And part of the theme is that bringing us together with food in the United States, at least, having calm family time meals is like not a thing anymore. I work with a lot of younger athletes and I'm a coach. I don't ever really hear them like talk or say like, oh yeah, my family and I went out to dinner. Or, oh yeah, when I had dinner last night with my family. I don't know about you, but that connected me with my family is we had family dinners and there were no cell phones back then. I mean, towards the end of my high school career, there were, but it was no cell phones at the table. It was, we don't get up and answer the telephone if that was the house phone ringing. This was your time, your half an hour to an hour of sitting together as a family, of connecting about your day and really connecting with the food that maybe someone took a lot of time to prepare. That shows the love. That's the Italian side. I'm Italian too. So, that creating the food is a way of showing love and care. And by sitting down to enjoy that food without any distraction, connects us together, connects us not just to the food, but to each other and to our relationships that we have. And something that I promote a lot of is that our relationships have a lot to do with our health. I'm sure a lot of us go through times where maybe we kind of, and especially us in the cold weather in the winter months, maybe we're not getting out with our friends a lot. And because it's shorter days, it's darker out, we're exhausted. The darkness just causes us to feel more tired. And we miss that. So then once we get a little bit more daylight, once it gets warmer out, when we get to being able to spend more time with our friends or family and have those relationships, it actually allows us to have a healthier lifestyle. So food is not just connecting us for the aspect of eating, it connects us for the aspect of the relationships in our health and well-being. And I think that is so important. When I grew up, if I could share a story now, when I grew up, we've talked about how I lived overseas. I lived over there for 6 years. So I grew up learning a totally different language. I actually went to an international school. So I did speak English most of my daytime, but I had to learn another language and I was surrounded by international students. In that, it allowed you to be able to experience different cultural cuisines. So bringing yourselves together at the table, whether it was the lunchroom, whether it was just snack time, you're looking at and you're connecting each other to the foods that they're eating. So we were learning about each other by like, oh, hey, what kind of snack is that? oh, you're from an Asian culture. So like that's an Asian, snack that you might typically have. Well, teach me about it. Talk to me about it. Maybe can I try it? And that would connect us a lot. And I remember specifically going to some family houses and eating their cultural cuisines that I had maybe never tried before. A friend in school, and you just go over to their parents' house. Well, in my world at that time, you were going to someone of a totally different culture. You had no idea what you were going to eat, and you kind of just had to accept it and not be picky necessarily, and not say, no, I'm not going to eat that. We respected the cultures, and it connected us together to learn about what do they do in their culture and how does this bring them together. It was just such an amazing experience. Going back to even my early childhood before I even moved overseas, food connected us. Like you said, everyone was in the kitchen all the time. Like someone was always in the kitchen. I remember being at my grandparents' house and they had a pool. So all of us grandkids were over there and we would just order pizza and be around the table. And that would kind of be our dinner. If it was Thanksgiving, we always watched our Detroit Lions go Lions. Yes, didn't do so well this year. That's okay. Next year, as we always say. But we were always around food, and it was always like, what are we going to have for dinner? Who's going to bring what? And it just brings you together. And again, it's the relationships, it's the discussions that you have around food that really connect us and bring us together in different ways, whether it's cultural, whether it's because of friendship and we're learning about each other, whether it's because of podcasts that we're talking about and what we're going to do next, or it's about our profession and work life. It's going to connect us in some way. And I just really, I do also really enjoy this theme and how it can kind of hit so many different areas.
Yeah, I want to circle back to I think 2 points that you mentioned. One was, the people that you work with, the students or whatever that you work with, they don't have time to sit and have a meal or whatever with their families. And I do think that's like the hustle culture that has kind of pushed everything. Like there's always an activity that people are running to, or people are working later, it's not just so 9 to 5 or like 8 to 4 or whatever. And then, people aren't able to cook meals as often as they can because of that time constraint. So, they're ordering takeout or they're meal prepping, which I'll get to in a second, like meal prepping. And then like you just go and you heat it up and then you go to your practice or you go to your whatever. And I think that is important to realize. It is okay to, at least take one day a week, maybe, to just slow down, designate a time, even if it is a Friday or a Saturday or something, even if it's a lunch or a breakfast, it doesn't have to be a dinner, to slow down, sit down, enjoy the food. And we are big proponents of intuitive eating on here. So like, and maybe practice that intuitive eating, the techniques that we've talked about in the past, because when you stop and slow down and appreciate what food can do, and there's an emotional component to food, right? Like it makes us happy and it can be there for us when we need some support or when we're sad or whatever. Like it also can be self-connecting. It can be something, that allows you to just connect back to yourself. Like you said, that mental health component, that wellness component of, stopping, slowing down, and taking care of yourself. I mean, eating could be a form of self-care if we think about it, in that way. So I think I really like that point, kind of going back to, we need to slow down a little bit, and that whole hustle culture kind of sabotages that a little bit. And it can be hard, even if it's just over like a snack or something, at least it's something. But the other thing I wanted to circle back to a little bit was, even if you can't eat together, preparing meals together is also a very fun way to connect. If you are into that, or even cleaning up together. I mean, I know cleaning up is not the most fun thing, but hey, you can make it fun. Someone washes, someone dries, someone's wiping the table, someone's putting the dishes away, whatever. Or even just meal prepping together or cooking together, or just, if you have a partner, setting aside time to cook a meal together. Now, I know some people are like, I am the only one I want to be in the kitchen. I can't be distracted. Like, you're getting in my way. It's okay. Food is also meant to be fun. You can totally slow down and just like designate like specific tasks for one another and just like connect about that as well. I'm one of those people that likes to just cook by themselves, and I find that very therapeutic, especially like chopping vegetables. I don't know what it is. Um, and I cook a lot with my mom because, I mean, we live together and things like that. And we we're always like, we set aside tasks for each other, and we can still talk to each other, and like it also kind of helps the dynamic, right? Like it helps to know like I'm doing all like the prep of the veggies and like the sauces and the seasonings, and she's usually like the meat person, like she's cooking the meat or on the stove area, and like I'm doing the other stuff. And like that way, if you have that those responsibilities and roles, you can kind of also connect over that, like how was your day, what did you do, da da da, oh what's the next step in this recipe or whatever. Like it's very interesting dynamic. I don't know if you cook with Joe a lot, because I know you obviously live together, you're married. Me and Carmen haven't cooked a ton together, but we have like on vacations when we've like rented like condos or whatever. And again, it's like you designate who does what, or like you say this is what I'm going to do. And it's just like a nice way to connect. I don't know. It's I know we probably said that word a million times for this episode, but it's just nice.
It is absolutely. And I think going back to like the intuitive eating is that really having either family time, taking your time to eat, it's going to connect you more to your body and to what the needs are. So when we listen to what our body is saying, we're more able to determine, is this what we really want to eat? Do I really enjoy these chips? Do I really enjoy this meal? Or am I just making it because it's kind of like a routine thing that I do? Another thing that we can use intuitive eating for and like mindfulness techniques is to be in tune with like our hunger and fullness signals. So when we're actually paying attention to the foods that we're connecting with, we know when we're getting more satisfied. We know when we're actually feeling hungry. And when we take that time to relax a little bit, we can feel those signals. Another thing too is in other cultures, we've talked about this before, they're eating higher fat foods, higher calorie foods, but we don't see the rates of disease and conditions that we have in the United States because I think, as you mentioned, Mickey, we're not in this like hustle and bustle mode, or they're not, because their rules are more relaxed. They're allowed an hour lunchtime, and just, you know what? It's not an hour, 60 minutes. It's take a lunch, come back to work, and get your work done. If we had that type of lifestyle, I think we would see a lot different of how we're eating and how we're dealing with food preparation and with other things going on in our lifestyles, and how we're meeting our nutritional needs. But that's not realistic for us, I don't think. And I think it's going to take a very long time, if ever, to change that. So when we do set health goals, we have to be realistic. And you mentioned, if we have to have, more prepared foods and on the go foods, there's nothing wrong with that. We just want to try and find times, whether it's a snack or late night snack, that is when we're going to be connected to our food more often, so we can have that time to really focus on what is it that my body wants, and is the ice cream what I want right now? Or do I actually need some fruit and some yogurt because that's sweet too? And I didn't get those nutrients throughout the day. I'm an athlete. I need to make sure I have enough calcium. I need to make sure I have antioxidants. I have carbohydrates in my body. So are those the types of things that we look at? And that's really where dietitians can come back into the role here, is helping guide you and make recommendations to how to get those nutrients into your diet for your lifestyle then too.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I wanted to circle back to kind of how, I guess, the academy has it kind of split into 4 weeks of like different themes during the week. So are you okay with moving on to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first week is connecting with food. So learning about cooking, food preparation, and meal planning. learning about where your food comes from, and then also exploring community resources such as like SNAP or WIC or local food banks. And so it's not just saying connect with the food that you're consuming, but also like learn about your communities and, your farmers or your local, retailers of food or whatever, restaurants even. So connecting with your food in different ways is the first week's theme. The second one is kind of, you alluded to a little bit, is connecting with a nutrition expert. So you can ask your doctor for a referral to an RDN, and then find an RDN who specializes in your unique needs, and then receive personalized nutrition information to meet your health goals. Week 3 is explore the connection between food and culture. So experiment with recipes using different ingredients or cooking techniques. Include your favorite cultural foods and traditions, or try new global flavors. Enjoy your meals with family or friends when possible. I think this one's really fun because this one you can really look for a variety of different restaurants in your area, maybe something that you haven't tried. So it's funny, we were just talking about it before we started to record. I had a doctor's appointment, dentist appointment this morning, and right next to it is like a Dominican restaurant. I'm like, oh, all that food looks so good. Now they weren't open yet because this was like 9:00 in the morning. So, but like, I was like, that would be really good to like go in and try like some of that food, because that's not something I obviously get all the time. So just like, if you see a different, small business in your area, especially that has something that you've never tried before, try it out and see how you feel about it.
I love that idea. I remember I love Indian food. So I remember going to a local Indian restaurant, and just like the culture that you're around, the atmosphere as well. So, like, is the atmosphere that you're in more relaxed? I know when we go to like a pub, a bar, something like that, I feel so like rushed to get in, get out, have my drink, go, order, whatnot. I feel like when you're in these different cultural cuisines, very different atmosphere. Now, some of them I will say, because they are probably more quick service, you might feel that way still. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're in like a different sit down restaurant, take recognition of like how you're treated, how the waiters and waitresses are. How long does it take for your food to come out? Do they offer complimentary options? If you're going to some of these restaurants, look at kind of what is available. And also, like Mickey said earlier, try different things, like order a bunch of different things so you can figure out what you might really enjoy. I think that is such a fun idea, because then you're not just stuck to one item, and if you don't really enjoy it, then you're kind of like bummed out about the experience.
Yeah, and if you're not sure what to order, ask. Like, I've been to restaurants where I'm like, I don't know what's best to order. Like, I will be very honest, like, I am a white woman, so I cannot handle spice very well. Like, I am not somebody that handles spice well. So like, if I'm going to a Thai restaurant and I was like getting so sick of ordering the same like safe stuff, which is usually like pad Thai. So I wanted to order something new, and I was like, what do you recommend? Like, what would be good to try, and what's like not so super spicy, because I'm a baby. And they like recommended other things to me that I tried, and it's just really nice to be able to do that. And like I said, they want to talk about those things. That's why they're there. They're passionate about giving you that care and that service, and in having you be a part of the culture. I think that's like the biggest thing, right? Is like they're sharing that piece with you. Like, it's okay to inquire about it and ask and see what you might like, because they know it better than you do, right? And if you're, not at that level yet, just look up the menu beforehand. And if there's something that you don't know, I mean, you can always Google it, right? Like, before I really got into nutrition and cooking, and I mean, we talked about how like cooking was one of the reasons why I got into dietetics, and I love to cook and I love to watch the Food Network. And there was, I think it was a Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives episode, which I love that show because, like I said, you would just get to see all these cool places around the United States. But there was like a Mexican restaurant, I believe, and they had like mole sauce. And I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And like, they described like the smoking of the chilies, and like how they used cocoa in the sauce, like, and you make enchiladas with it or whatever, you can put it on anything. And I was like, that sounds really good. Like, if I ever come across that, I really should try it. And like, I think one of the Mexican restaurants in our area does have it, and I get it there like pretty much every time. And like most people are like, I don't know what that is, I'm not going to order it. And I'm like, that's okay, look it up. You know, it might sound like, it might not be something that might initially appeal to you, but like look it up, see what it's made out of, and you know, try it. What's the worst one, right?
Exactly. And if you're trying anything new, or if you're taking any suggestions from us, being mindful about your eating, having family meals, make sure you tag us in your post if you're posting about it. And you can also use the hashtag NNM 2025, National Nutrition Month 2025. So make sure you're tagging us at the RD Squeeze and put a hashtag in there about National Nutrition Month, so we know you're taking our recommendations and putting forth that message of food connecting you.
Yeah. I wanted to go to the last week too as well. And then I have a little thing that I might want to do if you're down for it. But week 4's theme is build the connection across all stages of life. So this talks about learning how nutrient needs might change with your age, including healthful foods from all food groups, and then focus on balanced and sustainable eating habits, which I think weeks 1, 2, and 4 we've kind of really hammered home. So I'm glad we kind of focused on week 3 a little bit in that last little bit of our recording here. There's another article that I don't know if you want to touch on it a little bit. It's 50 ideas to get involved in National Nutrition Month.
Ooh, so, yeah. What are some fun ideas?
Okay, so there's 5 different sections here. So there's get everyone involved, at home, at schools, workplaces, and grocery store or supermarket. So I'm obviously not going to go through all 50 ways. That would be ridiculous. But I was thinking, if you want, because I don't think you have it pulled up, and if you don't, that's okay, because I don't want you to. Maybe from each section, I'll tell you like how many they list in that section, and you pick a number, and I will read that one, and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so the first one's get everyone involved. So they have 9 things listed here. So 1 through 9, pick a number.
Let's go with number 6.
6. Okay. Contact the local library and inquire about virtual or in-person story time or nutrition programs. And then provide activity handouts, the Eat Right Nutrition tip sheets, and the National Nutrition Month bookmarks for everyone to take. So in that article, which we can link in our show notes, we can provide that, and then they have the tip sheets.
Yeah. So that's fun. Yeah, libraries are a great place, I think. And if like libraries are looking for dietitians, this is a great month to have them so we can share. Maybe there's a couple books or whatnot that are on nutrition or focus on, you know, what foods to eat, colors, numbers, things like that use foods. That's a great spot to pull a dietitian in, and then we can share our message about the theme of the month and talk a little bit more. And, you know, obviously out of our own budgets, or maybe they have budgets we can use to purchase maybe those bookmarks or whatnot. Usually they're not too expensive, so I don't think dietitians are. We're not money makers as dietitians usually, but I don't think we're that upset about a few bucks that we can throw out there for you.
Yeah. I did want to mention one in this this section that you didn't pick, but it's going to inspire something for the podcast. So this one says sponsor a Dial a Dietitian night through a local radio station so callers can ask nutrition questions for RDs to answer. However, you can do that with us right now. You can submit questions and comments in the Spotify app. You can do it on YouTube if you want, or just through Instagram. Send us your questions. We might post like a little poll or something, or just send us your questions, and maybe we can just do one episode on people's questions. So
yeah, maybe we'll even go live.
Oh, maybe. Okay, so the next section's at home. So that's also 1 through 9.
3.
Okay. All right. This one is plan to eat more meals together as a family during National Nutrition Month. So we've kind of talked about that.
Yeah. Pick one day of the week, you know, even if it's Friday, and maybe you do it more or already now, but maybe you actually are more mindful about it. Maybe you sit at the table instead of going to the TV room or eating all around, you know, the house. Try and have it together and take, even if it's 15 to 30 minutes, take that 15 to 30 minutes together and then say, all right, now you're free.
Okay. Next one, at schools. There's 1 through 15.
Ooh, we got a lot for school. So let's go with 14.
Okay. This one says, I like this one, explore topics on food history or the invention of different gadgets used in the kitchen. So if you teach in a school, or even if like you are a dietitian or a nutrition student and you want to, spend some time in a school, I think that would be so cool. And I really I wanted to do this so bad, and I want to still do it as like an elective at Marywood, is like a food history class. So I think this would be so cool just to offer. And or even like I said, if you have a social media following or something, spend time posting about that. I mean, that would be such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one. That was a good one. Not that they weren't all good, I just really like that one because I don't think we focused on the history of food.
No, and you're right. Like, I never had a real food history class. I remember, I don't know what it was, but I learned a little bit about the food history, and I was like, this is so cool. I think that's kind of like both of our backgrounds of like the love of food, the love of cooking. That really like connects you even more to nutrition then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would love to actually do that myself. Even I
Or
know
like how it's made. Like, how is a can opener made?
Yeah,
like stuff like that. That would be cool.
Out of a whisk. Like, what bright mind was like, how we can make this even better if we make a whisk and we just put a bunch of stuff and like whip it together? Like, how did they think of this? Like, what science and history?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool. Or like a spatula, or I don't know, like who thought of these things? I want to know.
An induction burner. Like, who thought of that?
Right?
Mind
You're
blown.
getting like real fancy. I was like, who thought of a whisk? And you're like, an induction. All right. Okay.
Sorry. I use it all the time at work, so.
But like, yeah, like there's so much science to food. I mean, we have a whole food science class. So,
yeah.
But part of science is history, right? Like discovering, how induction cooktops work, and like how that, like they had to think of all these things, and there had to be science that came out of it. So like, what was the process of that? Like, I just think that's so cool. Or like, who knew canning food could preserve it? Like, who thought of things? Like, I don't know. I don't know a lot about those things. So that would be really cool to research. All right. The next one is workplaces, and that has 10 ways. So pick
we'll go with number 2 for that.
Okay. Highlight cultural food traditions in office cafeterias, offer special menu items from international cuisines, Asian, Mediterranean, Mexican, etc., or regional foods of the United States. So I like that one. I think even to having, we did this once at an AME. It was like a banquet. I think it would be really cool to have like a banquet of just different foods and just like try those things. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. In working in a school district, in my past job, we would do like different theme days. So like it was Taco Day or something, or I'm trying to think of I think we did have like an Indian Day one time. So I think it would just be really cool to have different cultural themes, and you don't even have to stick to March as your month to do it. Like if you're hearing this now and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so great, I already purchased all my food for the month or already have my menu out, do it for April, do it for May, and maybe see like, is that actually bringing more customers to you? Is it allowing people to try new foods? And is it allowing them to say like, hey, put this on the menu more, like I really enjoy it?
Yeah. Okay. I love that. All right, last one is, right, it's the last one, yeah. Grocery store or supermarket. So that's 1 through 7.
We'll go with 5.
Okay. So offer a virtual nutrition education session that offers suggestions on how to eat healthy on a budget. So that's a fun thing to do on social media if you want.
Yeah. And a lot of grocery stores now too, if they're like a bigger chain, they have a dietitian. So you can always reach out to the grocery store, see if they have someone, if they're doing some promotional things. I know a couple dietitians are the kind of like go on the news for their grocery store and help promote nutrition. So stick to, or look out for, I should say. Look out for those kind of messages during that time of March and see if they have anything going on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else we want to talk about for National Nutrition Month?
I don't think so. I think we touched on quite a bit, Mickey.
All right. So that means we got to do sweet and sours.
Yes, we do. Do you want me to go first?
I can go first this time, okay. I think I got them. At least I have Well, you know what? You do your sour first.
Ooh, my sour. Ooh, we're gonna bring that in.
Yeah. I know that's going to be a topic of discussion. We kind of like prefaced, before we started recording what we were going to talk about. So let's start with that.
Yes. Okay. So my sour right now is that many, not just dietitians, but I'm going to put that out there since it's National Nutrition Month. Many dietitians who hold federal roles in a lot of the government agencies that deal with food and nutrition security, that deal with school food meals, that deal with the National Institutes for Health, have been unfortunately let go of their positions without due justice for why. So I am very sad to hear that. I know dietitians are very hardworking people, and the reason they get into those roles is because they want to make change and they want to do good for really the United States, I will say, the consumers, the public, and they want to promote good health. So it's sad to hear so many. I've been looking on LinkedIn, and every day I think I see at least 5 to 10 people who are posting about their role that they have been let go of. So sad to hear that. Hopefully things do change. Hopefully they will be brought back as soon as possible. But unfortunately, I think a lot of them, even though they love their job, they might not want to go back to that role if they are asked. So if there's anyone out there looking, or if anyone's out there who has roles for these dietitians or other public health professionals, please, give them a chance. They're there to do good.
Yeah. I mean, Emily, make sure this doesn't stop recording on me again. But I think
It's going.
um, okay, good. That's a fun joke from a couple episodes. Our podcast.
We can't put blame on anything because we really don't know, but we're just
But
gonna leave it at that.
stopped recording when I started to talk about a specific topic. So I'm not gonna go too crazy, but it's really a sad position we're in. And again, I don't like to bring bias or specific controversial views into this podcast. That's not the reason why we started it, but it is really sad to see that science has been really refuted and rebutted for quite some time now. I think starting with 2019, 2020. It's really sad to see that people don't want to invest in the research and the transparency of sharing health information, because that's where a lot of these dietitians were working. They were working in research. They were working for specific health related departments, organizations that were funded by the government, and then they were let go. And I will just say it's just a sad time where we used to respect what science was and respect who was educated in science. It's sad to see people being questioned about their knowledge and questioned about somebody that should be an expert in their field and being constantly, I don't know, just battered with complaints or whatever. Science is ever changing, and even with nutrition and dietetics is a science. So what might come out one day, it can change the next year. It can change the next day. It can change the next month. And with studies and research, it really depends on the results of the study when you're collecting specific methodology, or when you're limited to participants, or whatever the case may be. And I think people don't understand, and they're not literate in science, and that's okay. I'm not literate in every topic either, but I think we're at a point, and I guess this will be kind of my sour too, is just like the health literacy and the misinformation that has grown tremendously. I think especially too in the past few weeks has definitely been detrimental. And I think we will be seeing repercussions for this for a long time now. I was wrong in that episode that I got cut off in. I thought TikTok was being banned permanently, and it came back the next day. But that was only for a 6-month extension. We don't know where that's going to happen. But with that said, it is very easy to get confirmation bias. And I don't think we talk about that enough. And I just talked about this in a class a little while ago. You know, those algorithms and the content that you consume is meant to confirm your own biases, right? It is meant to showcase what you believe is true. And if you don't look at other resources, or if you're so stuck in one source or one area, you are never going to broaden your horizons. So when you're on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook and you're only seeing this one type of narrative, it's because you probably Googled it. You probably have said something about it. Because again, those algorithms work on your data in your phone, and it's just constantly confirming what you already believe. So if you take yourself out of that, and I know I'm kind of probably preaching to the choir, but like, if you take yourself out of that and put yourself in another person's shoes, or have empathy, or look at some other source and critically think about it, you might be able to change your mind. And I know it's very hard to change people's beliefs, and that's why confirmation bias is so detrimental in terms of misinformation. And I just went on a huge tangent that probably is not going to make me very popular, but it's very sad to see that this is the turn of the science, and now it's just kind of like whatever we say goes. And you know, I think we're focusing, I mean, we talked a little bit about, I don't know if you want me to bring it up or not, the Make America Healthy Again movement. I would love to see America get healthy again. I'm not saying I don't want to see that. How that movement is going about it, I don't think is the right way to go about it. I think we're focusing on little things when we need to be focused on systemic issues. Like, we're focusing on food dyes, which again, that if there's research and studies out there that are detrimental, fine, about food dyes. How are we making access to food, and how are we making, you know, people being able to eat and not starve, or how are we making food accessible that is healthy to everybody? Because I just saw something, I didn't read too much into it, but like, again, they want to reduce the amount of junk food that people can buy on, I think, Snap. Instead of worrying about that, worry about why they don't have access to healthy foods. Like, we're consistently missing the point on how to make people healthy. We're focusing on them when it is a you problem, government. Again, checking to see if this is still recording. Hopefully we don't get cut off.
I've been looking every second.
I know I'm gonna get myself in trouble one of these days, but it's really sad to see that this is the way we're going. I was gonna say something else and I kind of forgot what it was, but
that's all right. Let's go to our sweets.
Yeah, we're going.
Let's go to our sweets. All right. So your sweet, Nikki.
Are you going to yell at me? Are you going to edit me out?
No. No, okay. Because we need to hear it. We need to understand that these difficult conversations need to be had, and you might not agree with everything, but it's the truth. It's the reality of what's happening. And that's why we are really here, is to cut through the misinformation and give you the honest information in our profession, at least.
Yes. So I'm speaking from a place of concern, but also just, I'm trying to share that, yes, you may believe you're right, but you might not be right. And you might want to critically check yourself. But yeah, let's get into sweets. I can go on another rant maybe next episode. I don't know. I can do my sweet, or you can do yours. Which would you prefer?
Do yours. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of a cop-out today. I have like one funny one, and then I have a good one. I'm having a really good hair day today. I don't know what's going on, but I love it. And then, so if you're watching, hello. But also, very exciting news. After blood, sweat, tears, me wanting to cry all the time, and lots of hard work, we finally got our graduate program approved for Marywood University. So it's a graduate program and dietetic experiential learning track. And that is the program that I've been talking about probably since we started the podcast, that I was like, I don't know, we might get it, we might not. We finally got it. Yay. So woo! I'm very excited. So we can start admitting for fall 2025. So it's really exciting. I'm so glad we got to like revamp everything, and I'm just really looking forward to the future of that. So yay!
Congratulations, great job, and all that hard work paid off for sure.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So my sweet is that I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the episode, but because it's National Nutrition Month, dietitians get this fun catalog. Got it sitting right here, actually. So this fun catalog, and I'm going to be ordering some new swag. So that's what I'm excited about. So that way I can promote dietitians. Yes, I am an RD. I'm going to wear it to work. I'm going to wear it to the grocery store. I'm going to wear it to my sporting events if I need to. I'm a dietitian. This is what I do. I'm here to support you, and we are here to promote National Nutrition Month. So, woohoo! Let's go March 2025 with Food Connects Us. We've talked lots about how it can connect us. So make sure, again, share your story. Tag us in a story of yours with @the_RD_Squeeze and hashtag NNM 2025. So we know that you're taking our message and sharing it with everyone that you're around.
Yeah. And don't forget, obviously, with the podcast, feel free to like us, share us, comment, post your questions, whatever you want to do. We are here to just help with all of that fun misinformation that we were just talking about. So, if you have questions, we're here to answer them. And, we're here to be your resource if you're interested in that. So thank you for joining us if you have been joining for that reason, or if you just love us because we're awesome, that's fine too. But yeah, I'm just happy RD Day to you, Emily.
Same to you.
Happy National Nutrition Month, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Freshly Squeezed episodes on Sunday. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Be sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. We will always take topics you want to hear about, so message us for any topics you want to see covered on the RD Squeeze. Don't forget, it's dietitian with a T. We'll see you next time on the RD Squeeze.